The Philadelphia 76ers are the NBA's most confusing team. On paper, they have everything. A former MVP in Joel Embiid, an explosive young guard in Tyrese Maxey, and a seasoned star in Paul George. They should be contenders, but last season, they won just 24 games. For the first time in years, the NBA left them off the Christmas Day schedule. The league has moved on, treating the Sixers like an afterthought. So why can't the Sixers do the same? This isn't just a bad season, it's an identity crisis. The front office keeps betting on Embiid's health, even as his body fails him. They handed Paul George a massive contract, only to watch him play half the season at half his usual level. Meanwhile, their young talent Maxey, Jared McCain, rookie VJ Edgecombe show flashes of brilliance, but they're stuck in limbo, caught between a rebuild and a win-now push that isn't working. The Sixers are a franchise paralyzed by indecision. Do they go all in on Embiid one more time? Do they cut their losses and start over? Or do they keep pretending everything is fine, wasting years of Maxey's prime and Edgecombe's potential? The answers to these questions will define the next decade of Sixers basketball. And right now, it's not looking good. This is the story of how a team with so much promise became the NBA's biggest question mark, and why time might already be up in the Embiid era. The moment the Philadelphia 76ers handed Joel Embiid that $193 million contract extension, they weren't just betting on his talent, they were betting against reality. This was a 7-foot center with a medical chart longer than his highlight reel. A player who had never logged a full healthy season, coming off a year where he'd suited up for just 39 games. And yet, the Sixers looked at all that and said, let's lock him up until 2029. At the time, the deal was risky. Now, it's borderline catastrophic. Embiid's body has continued to betray him. Knee surgeries, ankle issues, recurring back problems. He's still dominant when he plays, but when is the problem? The NBA's reigning MVP one year can't stay on the floor the next, and Philadelphia is paying him like a franchise cornerstone while he's turning into a part-time player. What makes this even worse is the contract's untradeable nature. No team wants a 30-year-old big man with that injury history making $60 million a season. The Sixers are stuck, forced to build around a player whose prime might already be slipping away. And the front office's refusal to acknowledge this mistake is costing them dearly. Every game Embiid misses isn't just a loss in the standing. It's another reminder that this team's entire foundation is built on quicksand. When the Philadelphia 76ers signed Paul George last offseason, it was supposed to be the final piece of their championship puzzle. Here was a perennial all-star, a two-way force coming off his most efficient scoring season, ready to form a big three with Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. On paper, it made sense. In reality, it became the latest in a long line of Sixers miscalculations, one that's now dragging the franchise deeper into purgatory. George's 4-year, $212 million deal looked questionable from day one. He was 34 years old with his own injury history. Yet, Philadelphia handed him superstar money well into his late 30s. The gamble backfired immediately. George missed 41 games last season with nagging lower body injuries, and when he did play, he looked like a diminished version of himself, slower on defense, less explosive attacking the rim, and increasingly reliant on tough jump shots. The Clippers, who had watched his decline up close, let him walk without a fight. The Sixers, desperate to convince themselves the Embiid window was still open, ignored the warning sign. Now, they're paying the price, literally. George's contract is virtually untradeable without attaching sweeteners like draft picks or young talent, which defeats the purpose of moving him. Even worse, his presence stunts the growth of Philadelphia's younger wings, like Kelly Oubre Jr. and rookie Jared McCain, who need minutes to develop but are stuck behind an aging star. The Sixers had a chance to pivot at the draft, exploring deals that would have shipped George out alongside their number. 3-pick for future assets. Instead, they stood pat, doubling down on a core that's already shown it can't stay healthy or compete at the highest level. The irony? George was supposed to be the reliable veteran who took pressure off Embiid. Instead, he's become another unreliable max contract anchor, weighing down a team that refuses to admit it's sinking. The Sixers aren't just paying George $53 million annually to decline. They're paying for their own desperation, for the front office's inability to accept that the Embiid era might already be over. And with 4 years left on his deal, this disaster is only just beginning. What makes this failure especially painful is how predictable it was. The NBA has seen this story before. Teams overpaying past their prime stars in a last-ditch effort to contend. See, Lakers with Russell Westbrook, Suns with Bradley Beal. The Sixers had all the evidence they needed to avoid this trap. They ignored it. And now, like those other franchises, they're learning the hard way that desperation is the worst strategy in sports. Beneath the wreckage of Philadelphia's failed superstar experiment lies something rare for the Sixers: actual hope. While the Embiid and George contracts threaten to sink the franchise, the emergence of Tyrese Maxey and the arrival of rookie VJ Edgecombe offer a potential lifeline. Maxey's leap to stardom last season was the one unqualified success in an otherwise disastrous year, with the 23-year-old guard averaging 25 points and 6 assists while showing the kind of durable, electric play that's become extinct among Philly's veterans. His $204 million extension this summer wasn't just deserved. It was the first smart long-term commitment the Sixers have made in years. The draft brought another potential cornerstone in Edgecombe, the explosive wing from Baylor whose two-way potential gives Philadelphia something they've lacked since Jimmy Butler left: a young, athletic forward who can create his own shot and defend multiple positions. Early summer league flashes of his dunking prowess and defensive instincts have fans dreaming of what he could become. Then there's Jared McCain, last year's surprise rookie who showed polished scoring chops before injuries derailed his season, and Ricky Council IV, the undrafted steal who outplayed his contract in limited minutes. But here's the painful reality: Philadelphia's front office can't fully commit to this youth movement. Embiid's and George's contracts handcuff them to a win-now timeline that doesn't align with their young players' development curves. Maxey should be entering his prime as the centerpiece of a rebuild, not wasting seasons covering for aging stars. Edgecombe needs reps to grow, not to be buried behind George. The Sixers find themselves in basketball purgatory, too young to seriously contend, but too financially committed to veterans to properly rebuild. The path forward is clear but painful. Trade Embiid and George for whatever assets you can get, hand the keys to Maxey, and build around him with Edgecombe and McCain. But until Philadelphia's front office accepts that their championship window has closed, this promising young core will remain stuck in limbo, their potential wasted in service of a dream that died years ago. The Philadelphia 76ers are running out of time and excuses. This season isn't just another campaign. It's a final reckoning for a franchise trapped between denial and reality. Joel Embiid's body keeps betraying him, Paul George's prime is fading fast, and the young core of Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe, and Jared McCain can't wait forever. The Sixers had their chance to pivot, to trade aging stars for future assets, to embrace a rebuild. Instead, they doubled down on a broken formula, hoping for a miracle that may never come. The NBA has moved on. The Celtics, Knicks, and even the up-and-coming Magic have surged ahead while the Sixers cling to a past that no longer exists. If Embiid and George stay healthy, maybe, just maybe, they can pull off a playoff run. But betting on if is how franchises waste decades. The smarter play: cut their losses, trade whoever they can, and build around Maxey and Edgecombe before it's too late. The clock is ticking. The Sixers must choose: face the inevitable now or regret it later. Because in the NBA, hesitation is the one mistake you can't recover from. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the Sixers' downfall, don't forget to like and subscribe for more hard-hitting NBA analysis. See you in the next video!